When I was living in Japan, I built a PC that featured two beastly CPUs and I used it as a workstation for quite some time. However, when I had to move back to Australia, I found that the case and a lot of the components had to be dismantled and shipped back, otherwise it would just cost more in shipping than the PC is actually worth. But here we are today with a new case, or should I say a new body, for what is called Dunicron, a PC named after a character called Unicron in 1986 Transformers the movie film, which is arguably one of the best movies of all time. Welcome back to Tech City. This is Brian coming to you guys today with part one of the resurrection of Dunicron. Now in this first part, we're going to be doing the whole build and sort of giving you a look at the basic build with all the pretties on there. Part two, I really want to showcase it and sort of get some custom decals on there and really showcase the character of which it's based on, and that's Unicron. But anyway, instead of going through the parts list and just putting B-roll with the prices, I'm going to talk about what makes this build so special. And the first part here is these CPUs. These are the E5-2670s. They are essentially an 8-core 16-threaded CPU. Now the best thing about these is that they were going for around 65 USD. And so you get two of these and you put them on a motherboard that can support two of these CPUs, and you now have 16 cores and 32 threads for like 140 bucks, even though the motherboard was about $300. So it was pretty expensive, but if you can get the motherboard and the CPUs, then you've just got so much processing power for so cheap. And then the second part that makes this build so good is the 128 gigabytes of DDR3 memory. We picked this up for around about $110, so that's just an insane amount of memory for the money. And then of course we've got some other parts here like an Asus sound card, really good value for money. This is getting an upgrade too for the GPU. We were using a GTX 970 before, but now we're going to be using a 980 Ti. This has got the Arctic Extreme cooler on it, does a really awesome job. Two Cooler Master 212s. They're also spray painted white, bit of a custom look there, and a Super Flower power supply. 1TB SSD from Western Digital, and a 3TB hard drive. We've also got this sent out from BitFenix. This was the Shogun. They wanted me to take a look at this case, and when I saw that it supported the extended ATX format, I decided that Dunicron would be a perfect build to be resurrected in this case here, the Shogun. And they've also sent out some RGB LED lights as well to put in there, so Dunicron's going to be looking pretty fancy. Anyway, let's get started with this build, and we'll get to work.
Of light, we're moving through the night. With destiny in our sights, we've got to fight. Through all the rain, we're masking all our pain to take what still remains of our lives. We've justified our sin, and we're gonna take you on a ride till we find answers within. Location not here, in shadows we all disappear. Hold on, switch gears, we're gone as fast as we appeared.
So there it is, guys, stage 1 of this build is finished. There is still some more work to be done, like adding some custom decals and maybe some other things that I'm yet to think of, but the build itself is complete, and doing a quick benchmark on GTA 5 shows this PC's weakness, and that is gaming. When comparing the overclocked 980 Ti with this combo compared to the 7700K, for example, it falls behind by quite a bit, roughly 37% behind at the same settings on the same benchmark. Though when it comes to multi-threaded performance, this thing kicks some serious tail all across the galaxy and for the money. Also, since it has 64 gigabytes of memory and so much processing power that I can multitask and do so many things at once without having to worry about slowdowns, even though the 7700K does feel a bit more snappier in the real world. Though there will be many more benchmarks and a final showcase of this build once I complete it. And also, those eBay cables were damn impressive. They even came included with movable combs and were the cheapest solution I could find. So all I can say to Gamer Chief is, well played. Though now I wanted to talk about the BitFenix Shogun, which was sent out for review, and overall it is a very nice case. Building in it was, however, very time consuming, as I had to insert an extended ATX panel and also figure out how to make the motherboard fit firmly without having any flex. So in the end I put 2 rubber pads on the top and bottom right corners. Though the cable management at the back was so easy to work with, even with this extended ATX panel installed, and I had no problems running cable extensions to the 2 CPU 8-pin headers and 24-pin ATX header. And with this case, there was so much room for drives too, 4 SSDs in total and 6 3.5-inch SATA drives from the bays. And you can also remove those bays if you wish, though you will have to remove the top 2 bays if you want to use extended ATX. At the front of the case, you get your SSD tray with RGB colors shining on it, which also acts as a hybrid shroud for the power supply, the 3.5-inch drives, and the ugly cables behind it. There is also an RGB controller included on the back of the case, which then gives you control at the front panel for your RGB lighting, which on the top besides that RGB button features 2 USB 3 and 2 USB 2 ports, as well as your standard reset and power buttons and audio in and out jacks. Both side panels are tempered glass, with the rear having an extremely dark tint to it, so dark that even the RGB strip that I put in the rear could not be seen from the outside. The front, however, was a completely different story. The RGB strips really added to the look of this build, and there was so much room to work with in the front of the case as well. If you wish, you can add a 360mm radiator to either the top and or front of the case, and there is also one removable dust filter at the bottom of the case. However, on the top and sides of the case, there is only fixed steel mesh, and at the front of the case, only the sides feature air intake, and the bottom front of the case is completely naked with no dust filters whatsoever. There's a further 3 GPU support arms included, though I found that this didn't work with my E-ATX motherboard. So now it's verdict time. I really liked the final look of this case and also the build quality, which is damn good. Nothing felt flimsy at all in the BitFenix Shogun, and I had no problems whatsoever when doing this build, though I will say it was the most time-consuming case to work in, and that was of course partly due to the project itself. However, I also found the included fans were quite weak as well, even at full power. I would have also liked to have seen a third fan included at the front of the case, though overall a very solid case that comes in at currently $143 USD on Amazon, or roughly 234 AUD in Australia. Anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to hit that like button, and if you dislike it, then just slam that dislike button and let me know in the comments section below, what do you think of the BitFenix Shogun? Do you think it was worthy of Unicron's resurrection? I actually personally love the look of this case. I really can't wait to complete the build fully for you guys in part 2. And with that said, I'll catch you guys in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.